office in her maid outfit while he plans on how to deal with Ashvin harassing him for help. Knowing that he's the new daimyo, Ashvin might ask an audience of him. Velvet, master? John, I told you to not call me that. Velvet, but I am your favorite. John, you're my friend. Velvet, I should be nice. John, since when are you that person? Velvet, I'm kidding, John. Please, you should see the look on your face. John, yeah. You know I think Coco corrupted you. Velvet, pish-posh. She then pecked him on the cheek. He just blushed and looks as she leaves with a sway in her hips. Someone enters and notice John looking weird. Roman, huh? Always be careful with the quiet ones. John, take that as advice. Roman, what's bothering you? John, I know that Ashvin likes to watch you. Roman, he doesn't care about the council's dealings. He doesn't have any of his business. John, I know, but I expect him to ask us for favors. Roman, nothing good comes from that man, believe me. I heard that he got a graduate killed by having her work for him directly. John, you've got a name? Roman, it was Summer Rose. John, I see. That man is bad news. Major Domo, sir, you got a visitor. John then seats on his throne and greets the guest. Civilian, sir, I thank you for hearing me out. John, I know you. Later, Ashvin assembled a large team comprising teams RWBY, Pinar, SSN, CFY, and CREO. Ashvin, remember children, we are here to talk, not fight. I'm bringing you all along for security at the same time to teach you. Advice about what sir? Ashvin, every girl has an underworld and expects to know that in order to get out of its way. Why so, sir? Isn't it a huntsman's job to take that from us? Ashvin, the underworld is the outlaw against crime. They build reputable business and condemn any negative influence. The reason it's called the underworld is because it's comprised of people deemed by society to be inferior. Like, basically poor people and honest cast aside. Young, please talk about it. Children who meet with real diamonds, one of the best behavior. Coco, Diana, Ashvin, the world of the underworld. And the man who runs the jail from the stars. Right, basically the crime lord. Ashvin, far from it, think of him as a sheriff or an outlaw who can go beyond the law to deliver its justice. Then they board the bullhead and is going to Valor Agency. Later, Valor Agency. Neo signs. I can't believe we got a huge haul last time. John really isn't taking his new role lightly. Roman. Yeah, he doesn't. Even when I was just trying to get going through her classes, I had to be careful with my hauls. But at least we don't have to worry about money anymore. Roman. Can't believe the kid is good with numbers. Neo signs. He may used to suck as a fighter, but he was excelling in some of his studies. Finance and math was one of them. Emerald. I heard he got us all investments, crippling our current savings. Making us all self-sufficient for 3 lifetimes. Don't need to do what I used to, except if we're sticking it to the Neo signs. Where's John? Treat his old wounds. Neo then walked to the throne room. Velvet was cleaning an old bandage around John's waist from a stab by a deathstalker. Velvet, you're covered in scars. As her ears drooped, sad to see her old underclassmen and friend in such prison. Neo entered and saw it was him and decided to leave a smile. She had a new playmate along his line. John, I feel so nice. But someone is taking off before we do. They left me to die, all because of some papers. Never thought that a piece of parchment is worth a person's life. Velvet, must be pride since your lack of training and enrollment may have caused some bruised egos. John, Weiss is the only one with the biggest ego among them. But that doesn't answer why. No one opposed or tried to save me. All they did was watch as I worried myself to death. Velvet, I don't think that's the whole story. I think you should listen to this. John, and what if it's nothing but lies? Velvet, that's for you to decide. But if you only listen to your half of the story, that would be unwise. John, you're pretty wise, huh? Velvet, of course. I'm your senior classmate. but you love being your undercover. She just blushed and playfully punched his shoulder. Then Neil barged in. Neil sighed. John, we have guests. John, who is it? Meanwhile, love you. Major Domo. Do you have an appointment? Ashbin. No, but I do request an audience with the daimyo. Major Domo. One moment, please. She then picks up her scroll to make a call after a few minutes. Major Domo. He will see you now, Headmaster. Ashbin. Thank you. Then they make their way to the throne room could have been rectified with Headmistress Goodwitch and the second-year team. Blake. Yang, you've been quiet, partner. She just shakes her head for Yang to be quiet. Ashbin, I wish to make a proposition. John, I refuse. Linda, you didn't even hear me. Ashbin, I thought you would be a man of honor. John, I am, but I don't wish to deal with someone without honor. Ashbin, how so? John, there was a student in your care that you mishandled and allowed to end in tragedy. If that is what happens to those you are tasked to teach and raise, I'd rather make dealings with the grin. Leo was first. John, could you give him justice by reporting the truth about the confrontation with Arden? He points to Arden, as everyone looks to him. Arden and John, I know you know the truth. That place is a frequent place for your studies. It wouldn't be unfound to not have security cameras around. Linda, yes, we have. John, then why didn't you confront him with evidence and prove the other young man to be a capable student? Austin, this young man's father is going to jail in Huntsman. John, then you are incapable of uploading anything in case of political accusations. I will not hear you. And hear the soul of that poor boy be at rest. Then the Malachite twins stood by the door. Austin, please reconsider. I may. John, enough. That is not the only thing that I abhor from you. It's your students in question. Glinda, how so? John, nothing but hypocrites, the lot of them. They say birds of the same feather flock together. Then Santo walks in and catches Goodwitch's attention. John, are you that desperate enough to enlist the aid of an outlaw since you're in your school of mercenaries? Weiss, excuse me. You're nothing more than a common criminal. Then all the Valor crew all drew their weapons, as did Santo, but Neo aimed her rifle dead center on Weiss' forehead with a laser to show her where she's aiming. John, you come into my neighborhood, to my house, demand things from me and disrespect me? Well, all I've said is the truth. Ashbin, please explain why you said that. John points to Team CRDL, then to Team RCWY. John, they're the epitome of hypocrites. Her semblance. John, amazing say a few things and she's ready to kill. And she claims to hate bullies when she bullied someone herself. Young, Ruby looks away at Yang since she basically bullied John away. John, nothing to say? Or is it lying again? Ask the master before taking the students to do background checks on previous misdemeanors. He throws a scroll in her chest. John, I am suing you for damages on my own property. Junior's husband. A fine of 350,000 lien for both renovations for property damage and 200,000 for health insurance of multiple aggravated assault. He then looks to Yang, who is now trying to hide even if she was being held by Goodwitch. Then he points at Weiss. John, and that whiny selfish brat, a racist and who exploits the fathers. Weiss, that's my father's doing. John, and yet the clothes you buy, the dust you use, the food you eat, and the house you keep is maintained by the labor of slaves. Sins of the father is a bitch. No matter what you do to run away from him, your name will always reach me. Weiss tried to do something, and she was also held in place. Then he points to Blake. John, you let a former terrorist in school. How desperate are you for skilled fighters? To allow his own Blake just lowers him. Austin, I give everyone fair treatment saying she is organize team and friends along with the whole academy. Partiality is not fair. Ashvin looks down knowing he was partial. Then Team CRDL. Jaune, and you let bullies and thugs in. Huntsmen are meant to be protectors, and these idiots just bully listeners, threaten them, blackmail, and then sell them. Ashvin now looks at Fett, and his team is killed once again in prison center for some months. Jaune, since you are surrounded by dishonorable people and you realize I will not deal with you, and finally the damages to my territory the freeway incident. Jaune then raises his hand, and a person enters the room. He was an average-looking man who looked really angry looking at Team RWBY. He then approaches Blake, but he slaps her. Team RWBY tried to help her, but we're stopped. The man shoved something on her chest. It was a photo of a young girl. Remember that face? That's the face of my daughter who died when you jumped on our car when that paladin ran us over. Jaune then looks to Santo, who looks down on himself knowing he is the cause. Roman decided to give the man a share of his money to pay for the funeral as an anonymous donation. Man, I remember you and I will never forgive you for what you've done. As he turned and left before he reached the door. Man, thank you, Daniel, for honoring my request. Jaune nods as he leaves. Sun tries to comfort Blake, who is no crime listening to this broken down girl. Jaune, is that reasonable? He then nods. Jaune, you're wanted for theft and entering a kingdom without proper identification. Along with that, you were also involved with the incident on the highway in causing other car crashes. Linda glares at him as well, ruining Hayden's reputation by his actions. Jaune, Team RWBY went after a porter on the highway and caused blood loss and serious accidents. All got the benefit of a newly built hospital that the porters were paid by the foundation. Ashton now looks mortified looking at Team RWBY as he clears up all charges during that incident. So full of yourselves, so sure. You got people murdered. Stupid, inept children, running around pretending to be heroes. Ashvin, I will see to them, I assure you. Jaune, your promises are empty. Then Velvet enters in her maid outfit.